tell. I think they're better off to wait.
It's been a month since you made your decision public, or more than a month, a lot longer, of course, that you knew it, and we're so successful at keeping it from the rest of us. There had been some comments that maybe two people should be, quote, co-commissioners or something. I know the selection committee got all its recommendations in the beginning, April 15th, on which way they should go. What do you feel? Should it be just one man?
Well, I think that most of the committee and also the clubs feel it should be one. I do, too. I don't think you can have two chief executive officers. It has to be one. Now, he could have strong deputies under him, but I think one person should have to make the decision.
I guess it's still a way. Perhaps the owners will meet in May, and maybe too soon still to even narrow down the list. What sort of timetables? So fast. Why the rush? Well, it seems to be a rush.
I think that we hope to do it in 90. I really hope they can. I won't be directly a part of it full time, but they're ready over there. We've been playing games, as you know, in England. I think this is our fourth coming up. We played in Sweden, and our television will be live during the regular season. NFL football will be carried over there live on TV. And now's the time, and we'd like to capitalize on it and having maybe 5 or 6 teams in Europe, plus 5 or 6 here, and have an international league in the spring. It'll be a big job getting it ready by next spring, but I think they can.
Well, Tex Schramm is, if anybody can help get it ready, it's the new commissioner of that league, Tex Schramm, a close friend of yours for so many years. As you now step back a little bit, but still a man who I think is the thing that's always remained the same with you, Commissioner, is that going in and going out, you just love football. What would you like to see the game? What couple things would you like to see in the 90s? Where maybe football can tread on some new grounds. I don't mean the International League, but so much in the NFL. What couple things would really make your heart, make you feel great about something?
I think the biggest thing for the future, and I sure hope they come up with an answer for it, is to resolve the collective bargaining agreement. I don't mean just this one. I mean during the 90s and after the 90s. Find some system where the players and owners can reach agreement without the detrimental strike like we had in 82 and 87. And I think the players and owners are going to have to get together and find some system to avoid that. I think it's the most damaging thing we've had in the sports, and it's most unfortunate.
And what it does is disrupt the playing of the game that I think everybody, players, owners, fans, commissioners, certainly love.
Everyone loses.
Everybody is a loser. Everyone was a winner during your 29 years, and this is your 30th draft. We'll make it in base 8 or something. We'll make it seem like a little less time. We will. It's the end of an era. But you're welcome here every year. You know that.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you, Pete. All right, Commissioner Pete Rozelle with us. Was at the microphone for all of the first-round picks this year in 1989, and we'll be back in New York in a moment.
Pete Rozelle, Tex Schramm moving to the International League. Tom Landry, no longer the coach at Dallas. And yes, it's a new era as we approach the 90s. We have 2 selections left to go in the second round. Our live coverage will take you right up till 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll be back during SportsCenter to give you a little bit of perspective on what we've seen today. And to step back in time a little bit, we made a lot about the Vikings' first pick. They went for David Braxton, linebacker, Wake Forest, and as soon as the selection was announced, you twitched appreciably next to me. Why?
Well, I thought that Braxton was going to go in the second or third round, but when you look at David Braxton, he's got great physical ability, runs well for a kid his size, but he doesn't have the instincts that you look for. He doesn't make enough impact plays. Now, you're going to see a highlight reel here of Braxton making some tackles, but I thought, you know, if I was selecting, I would think about Braxton in the 4th or 5th round, but his physical ability, his workouts were outstanding. The lack of instincts, I think, would cause him to have trouble at the pro level. That's why I think in the second round he qualifies as a major reach.
That was Minnesota's pick. Then the Rams had a pick that completed the Eric Dickerson saga. Finally went for UCLA cornerback Darrell Henley, a 3-year starter who is also one whale of a punt returner. And one-on-one, he is as tough. And this punt-returning dimension is a nice one to add to the package.
Well, you see his quickness and speed and the way he evades tacklers in the open field. And he can put that 6 points on the board like the Donnell Wolford can from Clemson. And, of course, as a cornerback, he's not that big. He's a smallish cornerback. You have to have trouble tackling in the open field. But a real good cover guy, that's what the teams are looking for. And that's what the Rams needed. They needed a cornerback with coverage skills, and Darrell Henley has that.
So Henley selected the 53rd pick overall by the Rams. And you know what? From that evening that we broke the story a few years ago on SportsCenter with the Eric Dickerson trade to the Colts, the three-way, it's finally over. All the future draft picks and that was Darrell Henley represented the last one. Here is what the Eric Dickerson trade is in flesh and blood. The Rams acquiring Greg Bell and Owen Gill, a one-time draft pick. In fact, both of them were. The Colts draft picks, the Rams using for Aaron Cox, Fred Strickland. Gaston Green has yet to really produce, but the Rams last year recognized, aside from Green, who had injury problems, having a very good draft, also picking up Frank Stams this year in '89, as well as Cleveland Gary, good receiver and runner, and Darrell Henley, which that's a pretty good selection. Cornelius Bennett, of course, wrecking havoc on the opposition offense with the Bills. Eric Dickerson doing his thing for the Colts. You know, a dramatic improvement when Dickerson went to the Colts immediately, but if you're going to look into the early 1990s, the Bills, I would think, and the Rams finished leagues ahead.
A good trade for all three teams. You know, Colts initially, because of Dickerson, you know, they got the help they needed to get them into the playoffs, but down the road it's going to hurt them because they gave up so many choices. Obviously, Bennett's going to be a major factor in the years to come, and you can see by the players that the Rams selected that they're in a good position to really do some damage in the NFC West, especially now that they're surrounding Everett with the kind of weapons he needs.
Let's see where these three teams finish relative to each other, though, whether indeed the Colts can make some playoff noise this year. Rams expect to challenge the Niners this year, and on the strength of all those people, again, as we recap what we've seen so far today, on the strength of the players they've picked up. What else has happened? Chicago picking with the 54th selection, 26th in the second round, going for David Zawatson, an offensive tackle from Cal. And the next to last selection in the second round was Freddie Childress, guard from Arkansas, taken by Cincinnati. And so the clock is running with about 7 minutes to go on San Francisco, about to make their second pick, as the Niners, with a bit of a reach maybe on first time through on Keith DeLong. Do you see something on the chart? As San Francisco, Wesley Walls, tight end from Ole Miss. That's a good selection.
It's a great choice right here. Wesley Walls could turn out to be the best tight end in this draft. Walter Reeves already went in the second round, but when you look at Wesley Walls, you see a guy who's got the size. He was a former linebacker, played both ways this year. Just a great athlete, can catch the ball, improved dramatically late in the year. Has a great attitude, one of the hardest workers in this draft. I think Wesley Walls is going to be a fine pro and obviously solidify a position of need here.
And his selection caps the second round at, let's check it, 5:52 Eastern Time, as the second round is now in the book. Walls, by the way, had one of the highest grades on that Wonderlic personality and intelligence test we talked about, so he'll learn the offense, and it gets complicated, as you well know, Chris, in San Francisco, but we are through 1 and 2. Clubhouse turn. Get ready to hit the stretch.
Yeah, we are hitting this stretch, Bobby, and the Wonderlic test is over here to us, Tom Jackson and Joe Theismann, and yours truly. I don't know how Wonderlic we are at this point, but the 49ers, in case you join us late, John Frank did or will, at sometimes it's the West Coast, if PR is behind us, will announce his retirement, the starting tight end last year, to go finish up med school at Ohio State. So that's why, really, that's a position of need. So 2 rounds are done. You know, we were looking, Mel and Bobby were looking, guys, at the Dickerson trade, the Cornelius Bennett trade, and the Rams with all the veritable plethora of picks that they've come up with over the last couple of years, if I may use that. I don't know whether you go into a trade to defeat another team. I do know you go into a trade to help your team. And we know how much Cornelius Bennett has meant to Buffalo and Dickerson to the Colts. And the Rams will have to wait and see. Is there a winner in this, Tommy?
I still think the final payoff is left to be decided. And that's because the young talent in Cox, Green, Bell that went to the Rams, I think that talent, as it develops, then you'll make that decision as to who came out on top. I think certainly for immediate payoff, the Bills, I think, got the better of the deal because Mr. Bennett is going to be a force in this league well into the 1990s.
Joe, do you have a thought?
Yeah, I just don't believe that one football player is going to be the determining factor in the success of a franchise. I really think the Rams came out of this one better than Buffalo or the Colts, because Buffalo got Cornelius, yes, an impact player. The Colts got Eric Dickerson, obviously an impact player. But you just can't win with those one players. I think what the Rams have is they have a diversity in the individuals that have been chosen. And that will allow them to not only be good today, but down the road as well. So I think the Rams come out of this one in the best shape. I really felt like they improved the most. You got 2 given qualities in the other 2. The Rams, you know, they've got what they've got, but that's got a lot of potential to get better.
The only danger in giving up all those picks for one guy is that if, heaven forbid, an injury befalls Dickerson or Cornelius Bennett, then you've got nothing else to turn to for your insurance. My goodness, the Rams have more insurance than the whole city of Hartford, I think, could sell, because, I mean, they have all those players that were, you know, last year and this year with the 5 picks, well, 1 pick each year was their own.